Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a general-ish reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon or Rising, born in the year of the monkey, so as general as that gets. Now it's as a general reading rules apply, roles can be reversed, timing's not absolute, you've heard this all before. But as ever with my readings, what I would like you to do is ask a question beforehand. Take a moment, pause the video if you have to, think about all of the questions that surround you. Focus on one of them because that gives energy to the reading that hopefully I will return to you. But be aware of all of them because the cards will answer what they please and not necessarily what you and I think of. Now this reading, there is an element of it either is for you or it isn't, but it's a guidance reading. There isn't so much of a past in this spread. There may be a present, but there isn't a past. So this is a take what resonates reading, or at least take it, file it away, keep it in there for reference, and then if it becomes applicable, because we're looking at summer, retrograde season, eclipse season, you know, all this revisiting and sudden shocks and everything. And this is supposed to be the calmer time before the astrology all goes crazy again towards the end of the year. So there's something to look forward to. And plus you've just had the North Node move into your sign, so there's a lot more. The Gemini energy is a lot more active all of a sudden, you know, certainly with more planets heading in that direction at the same time. So, housekeeping, if you don't know what your rising and moon sign is, there's a link down below for a free birth chart so you can find what those are. It's always a good idea to watch your rising. In ancient astrology, that was considered to be the most important sign. There's also a link down there to the Facebook group for this channel. So obviously I post these videos, but I also post all the astrology videos that I'm watching and learning from. Well, most of them. Some of them are really long. Have you ever watched the astrology podcast? You know, 2.5 hours is an average episode. They're superb, but they're a commitment. And there's an inbox on there, so you can contact me for a personal reading if that's what you like to do. This is a slightly different reading to normal because it's all oracle cards based, and some of these oracle decks are new ones to me, so I have all the books ready. I'm slowly learning my way through them, and I'm using the I Ching and the Tao Te Ching. You'll see what I mean with the Tao Te Ching. I've got cards with verses on and stuff. So yes, there's a lot of reference. This is a long haul, so figure out your question, make a cup of tea and sit down and come and join us, and let me bring up the cards. So as I change, if the computer will listen to me, yes, right. So that's just reminding me that I'm talking to Gemini Monkey. This deck is the challenge that you are facing over summer, and this is the Queen of Wands. So this is telling me that there is some person or force that has quite a fair bit of authority, but it can be quite impersonal and quite forceful. They are going to get what they want. You know, at least that's their attitude. We have the I Ching, the Saints and Mystics. There's the Tao Te Ching, Akashic Tarot, Mists of Avalon, Wisdom of the House of Night, the God Force suppressing you, the God Force uplifting you. You know I do that in some of my other readings. Angel cards, Angelarium Oracle, which is sort of more Kabbalistic angels. It's a great little oracle and beautiful, beautiful cards. This is the card where you have Chokmah, the second emanation of the Tree of Life, the second Sephiroth. Chokmah is, if the crown is Keter, the first emanation, Keter is the pen hovering over the paper. Chokmah is the first moment the pen touches the paper and starts writing. It is wisdom, it is understanding that raises out of raises out of experience, raises out of interaction. It is wisdom, full stop. It is wisdom. And wisdom is what is called for you from during this period. Because the God force working against you is the Jade Emperor with organisation. And he too is that knowledge rising out of nowhere, rising out of those first experiences. However, I'm really feeling the more institutional aspects. It's almost, I feel like there is some form of institution or some form of body. So the Queen of Wands here is probably more than one person. I mean, she's represented by Paimon, who's one of the kings of hell, who has multiple legions. So I think there is an element of you may well be challenging a faceless entity, and that is an entity in concept, much like a corporation, like your local council or Coca-Cola Incorporated or Nestle. You know, that sort of facelessness and immensity, that is something that you've got to challenge, because the wisdom of the House of Night, great little oracle. It's apparently it is the goddess Nyx talking to her children, but the fictionalized version of the goddess Nyx out of the House of Night series that I've never read. I have never read them, but this is such a wonderful oracle. Now this one, and this is the card I want to start with, is obedience. I'm going to read this one out. Here's a book I prepared earlier. And I've bookmarked all of these with little tarot cards. But I want to read this one out, not because I don't know this one. This one I do know. But it just says it perfectly. And it raises questions that I think the rest of the cards are going to answer. So it got bookmarked with the Knave of Wands. There's that chance of, yeah, do I go forward with this? I have something that I'm wanting to go forward with, but yeah, I'm not really sure. So yeah, I'll pop the Knave of Wands on there. So, obedience. There are rules for everything. The sun rises and the moon sets, and they dance together in perfect steps. What rules are you considering when you ask your question? You will be sorry if you are going to break a rule that is in place to protect you and others. Even though you may not like authority right now, this is the time to obey what has already been set in motion. This is the time to learn the lay of the land and to follow the customs that keep things in order. Learn the steps of the dance before you attempt to change them to suit you. Now, absolutely, I get the impression that you are going to be going smack bang against some rules. And I think that you will be right to. So there's two lots of rules here that we're looking at. The rules of the organisation that are saying whatever they're saying to you. You know, that you must do this or you can't do that. And then there's your rules, because the God force that is uplifting you and raising you towards your divine purpose. We have Hera with commitment. Now, she's famous nowadays for, you know, how mean she was to Heracles and her fits of jealousy and pique and what have you. But in the ancient world, she was someone who would stand fast by her friends, by her husband, by her allies, come what may, no matter what the price, because she made that commitment, and that was the way that things were going to be in her world. So I'm wondering, is there going to be some form of clash between your rules, your own personal rules, such as commitments to friends, relatives, family, causes, and this more impersonal, imperious force that is putting some form of restriction or limitation upon you? Because this is also a time of healing. We have, from the Mists of Avalon oracle, the Isle of Avalon, which is all about healing and rest, renewal, finding that very, very special place. And Guinevere, who obviously King Arthur's love interest. So that's a card about love. But it's even more a card about self-love, because how can you love anybody else if you don't love yourself first? And maybe if you're going to love yourself, you need to heal. So somewhere here, I think this battle, and this is what the obedience card is telling us, whatever this imposition is that's coming in, yeah, you're going to fight it, but one step at a time, and fight it with a plan. Learn the steps of the dance before you start to change them to suit yourself. And that's what the obedience card was saying. And this is what Chokmah is also saying, use wisdom. Now what's interesting here is the angel energy that spreads across the entire reading. We have the angel of forgiveness. I choose to forgive all those who have hurt me in the past. And this is why I think I'm concentrating on this facelessness aspect, because I don't think whatever this is can be blamed upon any one person. It's almost like there's something that has been set into motion and we have to see the results of this play out. Let me just read the Avalon. Now the Avalon was also, again, Four of Wands, commitment, and also a stable base to move on, and also a celebration. So some form of healing that you receive is causing a celebration. You are passing through the gateway of change. Your life has been in a holding pattern for some time, and it's about to change in a dramatic way. So that you can allow new growth to come in, you must let go of old belief systems, worn out relationships, and negative self-talk. Begin by recognizing your achievements and celebrate your success. You're about to become the very best version of you. And this emphasizes even more what the Guinevere card says, because she got the Chariot. So you're getting progress, you're getting motion in this whole aspect of loving yourself. Love is the language of the universe and the greatest creative forces. Balance your sexuality with intelligence and spiritual strength, and rule wisely over your emotions. Bring love in all that you do and claim your self-worth by nurturing your own needs first. So this challenge that is coming up, plan from a point of healing, because there are new beginnings coming. The new beginnings may already be here as you're watching this, because at the start of the tarot we have the Ace of Beetles, which equates to the Ace of Pentacles, so a real world 3D experience, well 4D experience, so 4D physics, 3D consciousness, however way you want to look at it, with the Judgment card. So a new beginning that's grounded, that's practical, that is calling in an entire transformation of yourself. And this may well be how you end up suddenly banging heads with this faceless entity. Because you are immediately challenging Knight of Swords, the Emperor. You know, so immediately there is some rule that comes down and goes, no. Either you must do this, so you can't not do it, no, or you can't do that, whatever. There's a no in there somewhere, a no that you are raising up against. But as I say, it is something that has been set into motion. This is faceless. You cannot blame a specific person. Even if it is, as the Hera card may be reminding you, this might be something that has been set into motion by you, by one of your friends, by one of your family, and they are not to be blamed, because it was a natural thing. What the I Ching is telling us, now this is lake above heaven, so lake above and heaven below. That don't work. That ain't right. That water's going to come crashing down. And what the I Ching has to say, no, that's not it, is a really interesting comment on what I was already seeing in here. So, what is it, 42? A lake rising is actually, I was reading 43, and I'm going to stick with 43 because that's what my attention was drawn to. A lake rising into the sky creates an unnatural imbalance that cannot hold. The weight of water hanging overhead is oppressive and threatening. So when it is inferior and evil people, so it is when inferior and evil people rise to exalted positions of power. A breakthrough is inevitable, bringing them crashing down from the high places. The good will always rise up again through the creative will of heaven. Now, let's see what it was really saying. But that really struck home with everything. I didn't even notice I was reading the wrong one. And this is clarified by the King of Swords. So it's that matter of insight, that matter of, I will cut away what I need to, but only what I need to, carefully. So there's, as I say, learn the steps of the dance before you change them to suit yourself. This, whatever you are tackling here, is strategic, but you're going to know how to do it. We have the star card clarified by the star card. Double star, well done, take that home on your report card. But what is really interesting, there's an element of wish fulfillment, but more to the point, there's the element of inspiration with this. Look at how these cups on the star card here, well, maybe I should hold it. This is a beautiful deck. This is the Steampunk Tarot. Look at how these cups are pouring water upon the world. You know, so it's almost associating the star card with the Suit of Cups, with the emotion, but it's celestial dreams, divine inspiration, divine emotion that is washing over the earth, which I suppose you can see in the traditional Rider-Waite. But it's interesting that the star also goes to Aquarius. Oh, both my candles have gone out, but I've got one still at the back here. That the star goes immediately to Aquarius. We've got Saturn in Aquarius at the moment, so there's that rules and restrictions. But coming into that whole new age, and I don't mean new age of Aquarius. We're about 700 years away from that from the research I've read, and I know a lot of astrologers saying, "Oh, we're going into it now." No, we're not. No, but we are towards the end of the Kali Yuga, and we are starting to go into the better times. We've just got the dying thrusts of the Kali Yuga to deal with in the meantime, and I'm sure that will be simple. Right, so the correct I Ching. Wind above and thunder below. The wind piles thunderclouds upon each other, increasing the storm's strength and moving it across the sky. Without the winds above, thunder's energy would dissipate. In the same way, people are strengthened when those above act on their behalf, with no thought of their own ambition. This leads to a time of increased prosperity and progress when difficult problems can be faced together and overcome. And that could not be further from the world at the moment, could it? So I stand by my faceless entity, and I stand by looking at Kwai, the hexagram 43. But this illustrates to us what could be, what really, you know, how it should be working. But at the meantime, all we have above us are the thunderclouds. But the wind above offers to blow all of this away. And that, I really like that image. Now, Angelarium got the sun. So using your wisdom will really blossom. If you dive headfirst into this confrontation, whatever it is, if you dive headfirst into it without thinking, without planning and strategizing, then not so much. You'll just get slammed down by this big faceless entity. And remember, this is a time of healing for you. This is a time where you are working towards being the better you by looking after you better. Now, so the Jade Emperor got the Knight of Wands. They have force in how they are challenging you, and they will act fast, but it doesn't mean that you have to act fast, because you have Seven of Cups for Hera, several options on how you are going to move forward with this. And slowly, steadily wins the race. Tend your harvest by with the inspiration that comes in, and you will see your ships come in as long as you have planned for them. But there is definitely value in what you're doing. Even if you are called to defend it, you will also be recognized by your peers, and I think that recognition is really quite important. But you will be called to defend the harvest that you are working with. Six of Pentacles here. But at the end of it, this is a story with a happy ending, because we have the Death card. Yeah, that sounds like a happy ending, doesn't it? But the change, the end of this struggle with Ten of Cups. So it's almost like whatever this struggle is that you are going into, using your wisdom, using strategy, we have the Sun card, we have the Ten of Cups here, you will win. And you need to win by remaining committed to those that you've already made commitments to, being aware of all the many options that you have, but not holding it against any one person. Angel of Forgiveness. Now, I also have the Eight of Keys here. The Master Artisan is just talking about the whole learning and strategy. So I don't really need to deal with that card. But the Saints and Mystics are really interesting, because you ended up with three cards here: St. Anthony, St. Christopher, and William Blake. So you are going to be called to be artistic, and it will have a spiritual nature. There will be a spiritual aspect in what you are doing. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be stood outside Nestle headquarters waving a crystal wand at them, but the motivations for what you're doing, when you are told no, your reaction is along the lines of, that's not right. And I know that's not right to the very core of my being. So St. Anthony got the Two of Wands. What was I saying about planning and strategy and moving forward? Now, it's almost like this is a wake-up call, all of this brick wall and faceless entity that you face, because the oracle meaning for St. Anthony, emotionally, he pulls us up from deep slumber and encourages the spirit to move with purpose and passion. And if that hasn't been what I've been talking about here. Now also, this was where, there was somewhere else I saw this as well, because spiritually, St. Anthony activates and magnifies the third eye chakra to see through distractions and false visions. Yes, with this Seven of Cups. You may have plenty of options of how you move forward, but you know which ones are the right ones and which ones are the wrong ones. And plenty of wrong ones are going to present themselves without a shadow of a doubt. He also works on feet and hand chakras to allow his energy to move between the physical and psychic worlds, and brings clarity and resolutions to light. And this is what you are working towards, this resolution of, you need to do what it is that you need to do that you've been told no, you know, or you need to not do what it is that you don't want to do that you've been told that you must do, whichever. Anthony calls back the lost fragments of your energies that have been torn, pulled, or lost during your day and throughout your life, and reintegrates them softly back into your luminous energy field again. And this is what I've seen by you taking this stand. You are looking after you, and that is by using the wisdom that is the healing experience that the Isle of Avalon is offering you. Consciously, be it whatever. He reminds us that all that seems lost can be replaced by something greater than imagined or found again in divine time. And yes, what you are going to get at the end of this is greater than you imagined. Ten of Cups, better than wish fulfillment. And by using the wisdom, your strategies will blossom and get an abundant harvest with this Sun card here. Growth, evolution. Now, we then have Saint Christopher, who again gets the Ten of Cups. You are protected. As much as you are feeling defensive, like I said, you are being defensive with this Seven of Wands here, but you are meeting your peers at the same time. And when I'm saying defensive here, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm not saying it in that moody way. I am saying that you are called to defend yourself, and you, what's the phrase? You acquit yourself perfectly of this, and you receive assistance. There is, once your fight becomes a little more public, known, there are others that will come and stand alongside you and defend the same way that you are defending and standing shoulder to shoulder than you, them returning that commitment that you have shown them. Saint Christopher makes things better, I think, is the Saint Christopher orchestrates synchronicities to guide you towards the best paths, people and moments to confirm your positive life direction. That's the other thing that I wanted to, but I knew there was a reason I left the card in there, to pull out of this, especially with this Ten of Cups, but more importantly with this Seven of Wands, where you are, whatever your fight is, you are joined by other people having the same fight and you are working together. And then finally, William Blake, who got Judgment, the transformation. And especially, I love the fact that he's the final card here, which comes with this Death and the Ten of Cups. Now, Blake's energy challenges us to question our world and work, guiding us to lift our game and explore greater depths of reality and our place in the creative collective. So, what you are going to be doing here has a lasting effect. It's not just that you win this battle for you, because there's others that will come and join you in this battle. It's that you win this battle for everyone. And there you are really showing your commitment. And the fact that the others who didn't fight it, that's where that forgiveness thing comes in. Because they probably didn't see the way that you did. But you will do, because inspiration, double star card here. You know what I mean? That information, that divine guidance, that, now I see how we're going to do it, all comes in all at once. And there's an element of wish fulfillment in it. Because when it comes to this fight, this will probably sound weird, but when it comes to this fight, you wanted this. You might not know it until you're halfway through it, but when you're in the middle of this fight, there's a bit of you that goes, yes, I am so glad I'm doing this. This is so me. This is a perfect expression of who I am. Not even who I want to be, who I am. And you having this fight is you looking after yourself and healing. And it gives you transformation, and it certainly gives you the transformation on the more spiritual levels as well as the more practical levels. But with the wish granting here and the better than wish fulfillment with the Ten of Cups, there is a lasting effect. Now, spiritually, Blake governs the throat, third eye and crown chakras. So guidance, insight through the bullpucky, shall we say, and the throat chakra, your voice striking out. Now for me, the throat chakra is all about manifestation. People will also attribute that to the crown, to the heart, to the solar plexus. But in the beginning, there was the word. All things are vibration. And if there is one thing that controls vibration here in the physical world, it is your throat chakra. You know, go to a rock concert and feel your ribs rattle. or go and watch some Tibetan two-tone chanters and feel the tingles while your ribs are still rattling that go up and down your body in reaction to their throat singing. And you tell me that the vibration, that your word, your voice doesn't have power. And that's what you're coming into here. You are coming into the master artisan. But as I say, you've got to research, you've got to strategize, you've got to learn the steps of the dance beforehand. I do a spell card. And we have air. As you know, air is all about information. It is the swords of the tarot deck. It's communication. Work with the element of air to cut through to the core of the situation and see the truth. Whether this faceless entity is deliberately doing whatever they're doing, or whether it is that weight of the lake above heaven and it's just tradition that's gathered its own momentum, and therefore it will be done this way because that's the way we've always done it, and that's how our mechanisms are engineered to have this done, and you can't go and throw your spoke in the wheel, and you're there going, but it's my spoke. You know, I mean, look even at the word spoke, you know, and you will have spoken by the end of this, and you will be proved right. You will have spoken. That's what I might call this reading, actually. He encourages positive active. Okay. I hadn't read this all the way through, as you can tell. He encourages positive activism and pushes you to challenge your comfort zone and practice or master things you may have initially have been fearful to do. So, whatever this fight is, Gemini monkey, you crack on, because the North Node is in your sign. You hold the destiny of all of us in your hands at the moment. You push forward and fight forward, but use that Gemini nature of being able to dissect things as you look at them and take them apart, just to go, right, that's how it works. Learn the steps of the dance. Oh, I could call the reading that as well. All right. Good luck, Gemini. Comment down below if this means anything to you. Comment down below when this means something to you. And of course, a like, share or subscribe won't go amiss. Please subscribe. It's a young channel, that helps. And the like button just helps boost this individual video up. So if you think it's worth listening to, press the like button. In the meantime, your monthlies will be out soon. And yeah, that's it. Your monthlies will be out soon. Cheers. Good luck. Now I'm a numpty. One thing I didn't read was the verse from the Tao Te Ching. Verse number 70, to hold the treasure. My words are very easy to understand, very easy to practice. Yet no one in the world can understand them and put them into practice. The words have a root, the affairs have a sovereign. Because people are ignorant, they do not understand me. Those who understand me are few. That is why I become valued. That is why the sage does not flaunt himself, but holds the treasure in his heart. This battle of yours, it will gain momentum and it will gain following. But to start off with, you might be a bit of a lone voice in the wilderness, but you saw those end cards. You will be fine. Cheers.